If I am a star, the people made me a star. There was no studio and no person, but the people did. There was a reaction.
Marilyn Monroe remains one of the most fascinating figures. She's been analyzed for her beauty, her presence, her charisma. A lot of people have spoken for her. So today, we're going to listen to her. We're going to listen to her voice and ask how she created one of the most magnetic signals of all time and what she can teach us about resonance. Welcome to Read the Room. I'm Mary Falkenstern. Let's begin. We're going to start by looking at the evolution of her on-screen voice, because she didn't just enter Hollywood with that signature breathy sound that she's known for. This is her in the film As Young as You Feel.
11 o'clock appointment with Mr. Gallagher, personnel. 1 o'clock luncheon with the representative of the Blakeborough Paper Company. Then there's your tailor, the barber, the man about those shirts you ordered, and don't forget your pills.
Her voice sounds somewhat ordinary there. It's kind of what you would expect from an actress of that time. Her placement is neutral. It's in between the chest and the head, and her tone is clear. We don't have that breathiness yet. Now, listen to the difference just 2 years later. This is her in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
May I just hold it for a minute? Of course. How do you put it around your neck?
You don't, Lovey. It goes on your head.
You must think I was born yesterday.
Well, sometimes there's just no other possible explanation.
No, my dear, she's quite right. Like so. It's a tiara.
You do wear it on your head.
Now we hear iconic Marilyn. She's got the pitch that goes higher, and she places it into what voice coaches call the mask. She's using mask resonance, which is right behind the eyes. And then she adds the breathiness, so it feels like the voice is floating. When the voice is placed forward and up like that, the face follows. So you get a brightness to the eyes and a lift in the expression of the face. She was shaping this voice. She was playing it like an instrument. So what was she playing? Well, I want to zoom out for a minute. You know when somebody asks you the question, what do you do? Like, what do you do for work? It's such a drag to answer that. It's like, what do I say? Do I give my title? Do I give a job description, right? It's usually really boring, is what I'm trying to say. Well, I want you to listen to how Marilyn describes what she was doing when she's playing this persona. Here's what she said. This is from a documentary on the BBC called Marilyn on Marilyn.
Well, I know I've been invited places to sort of, kind of brighten up a dinner table. It's sort of like being a musician. You're invited, so you'll play the piano.
She's invited to brighten up the dinner table. At the most fundamental level, what actors do is they play actions. They play verbs like notes. So brighten up is an incredibly specific intention, and she achieves that. If you look at her films, that lines up. That's what she's doing. So when people say that Marilyn Monroe was a master of the art of charisma, maybe she achieved that, but I would argue that what she's doing is she's playing specificity of intention with incredible nuance. You let me know what you think. Okay, so now we need to talk about Marilyn Monroe's process, because she was notoriously difficult to work with. And that's really interesting, because when somebody is difficult to work with or is a problem on set, they very rarely will become loved over the course of time. Usually at some point, the jig's up and we know this person's not actually what they're saying they are. But for Marilyn, she wasn't difficult to work with because she was a Hollywood diva. She wasn't arrogant. She was difficult to work with because she was perpetually late, and she would require so many takes that people would almost lose what they wanted to do in the scene. It was very, very aggravating and taxing on people that she performed with, and they're clear about that in interviews. So I thought, well, she talks about exactly this topic in the same interview we just listened to on the BBC. So let's hear what she has to say about being late.
Well, I don't think I'm late all the time, but maybe it is because I can't go as fast as other people. I think that we're rushing too much nowadays. That's why people get nervous.
She's such class to me. I wasn't late all the time. But then she also says something that flips the perspective of what most people who performed with her would say. They would say that she was so nervous, almost pathologically nervous, before she would do scenes until she got what she wanted to do. Here she's saying that everybody else is in a rush, and that is nervousness. She needs to take her time. And then she goes on in this clip to describe what her focus is. What is she committed to when she's performing? And it also speaks to the lateness and why maybe she didn't care if she was late or needed to take her time. So here, listen to this.
And I've never lost sight of the fact that I am working for one thing and towards one thing, and that is in giving a performance. That I am not at a studio at any time for discipline or to be disciplined. It doesn't have anything to do with art.
So she's explaining how she is dedicated to giving the best performance she can, and to her, discipline has no place in art. It's a provocative statement. I don't know that many people who are dedicated to their craft would agree with that, but it doesn't matter. That is her philosophy, and you couldn't force Marilyn. She would not perform until she was ready. While that may have annoyed everybody else around her, the results were undeniable. So when we look at Marilyn through the lens of her voice and resonance, you see that she calibrated her voice in a specific way. So she had specificity of vocal choices. She had clarity of what she wanted her voice to do, and she was supported by a philosophy that was aligned with her values. So you see, you get this alignment that strengthens a signal. But the reality is that resonance is not the result of one person. And this brings us back to the first quote that we shared of Marilyn saying, "If I'm a star, it's because the people made me a star." She's right. Resonance is not something anybody decides. It's what happens when somebody puts out a signal and other people connect back to it. And for Marilyn, that happened at a global and timeless scale. But the reason I actually chose Marilyn as a case study for resonance is because, yes, she undeniably achieved it, but she did it in a way that you cannot imitate. Nobody can copy Marilyn. And so we can't try to sneak and do what she did. And so I think it challenges or maybe invites us all to consider how we show up with our voice. Is it expressing what we want it to express? And is it supported by a process that we need that's important for our work? So I'm going to leave you with a clip of my favorite Marilyn Monroe movie, which is Some Like It Hot, starring Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and the one and only Marilyn Monroe. Here she is with Jack Lemmon. Until next time.
The poor thing, you're trembling all over.
It's ridiculous.
Your head's hot.
Ridiculous.
You've got cold feet.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Here, let me warm you up a little. There. Isn't that better?
Yes, I'm a girl. I'm a girl. I'm a girl.
What'd you say?
I'm a very sick girl.
Oh, I better go before it gets